You want to know one simple Jedi mind hack to get you to solve any problem you've got? Hey everyone, it's Harry. I hope you're having a fantastic week. This week I want to share with you perhaps one of the most important tools that you can apply today and every day going forward that's going to help you solve innumerable problems, large and small. I can't stress enough just how important it is to understand and apply this particular tool. When I first came across it about 5 years ago, I thought it was pretty basic. I thought it's not really going to do anything. But actually applying it makes a huge difference. And I'm building this up because I want your full attention with this. Let me explain something that's going to make a little bit of sense. You know your mind, your brain, your thinking. The way I like to think of it is a bit like Google, in that you've got that kind of nice blank white page and you've got that little search bar in the middle. Whatever you type in, question, statement, you're going to get results related to that question, that statement back. Your mind works very similarly. So whatever you put into it, you're going to start getting things back related to what you put into it. And this is the key, is understanding the power of how. What do I mean? I mean by asking intelligent questions. You might have heard people talk about this before. You're just asking the wrong question and you might have thought, oh, just bugger off. I'm not asking the wrong question, I just can't get the answer. But let me tell you something. When you start switching how you frame your questions, specifically around how questions, how can you solve things, how can you get results, you will get different answers. By way of example, my sister was around here the other day, she was doing some ironing board out, and she was telling me how she never does any ironing. And it reminded me of the case, because like, no one really likes doing any ironing, and it just reminded me of when I used to work in the corporate world and I was working obviously full-time, having lots of ironing to do with my shirts. And the way I didn't like ironing like anyone else. So I didn't want to be doing it every week or anything like that, and I didn't want to be wasting time, perceiving that I'm wasting time. So what was the answer? I asked my question, how can I do this important thing? I need to come in with a nicely ironed shirt. How can I do this and A, not waste any time, and B, enjoy the process? And then what came back to me was, okay, well, I've got to, maybe I can batch these things together. So I will just do an ironing set once a month. I'd have 20 shirts, once a month, I'd have all the ironing there. So I'm just doing it one time. That was the first step. Now that's gonna take a bit of time, naturally. So what can I do in the meantime? How can I make use of this time? And that was to watch a program that I'd recorded when I was doing the ironing. Make sure that the ironing board was there in front of, accessible to the TV. All these kind of questions and all these kind of answers come up when you ask the right phrasing of question. Rather than, why do I have to do the ironing? Why is the ironing so boring, so laborious? I know it sounds silly, but this is a really practical use of the questioning. Just like doing the dishes. Again, something I don't think anyone really loves, but they can put up with it quite often. And the way I put up with it is to ask the question how. How can I make this process more enjoyable? Because I'm doing it like 3 times a day sometimes, or maybe I'm just doing it once a day where I let them build up. But either way, I still need to do the same amount of dishes. Yes, I can put them in the dishwasher, and yes, sometimes I do. However, a lot of the things that I do, like the juices and the Vitamix and everything, they can't really get washed in the dishwasher, so I need to do them by hand. Question, how can I make this more enjoyable? How can I do something? How can I learn something? How can I not waste time whilst doing that? Listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks. I was able to do that. Again, how can I do that most effectively? Maybe it's having them headphones in your ear so that you've got total focus with it rather than in the background. Maybe it's having like a Bluetooth speaker that I could maybe move around with me. All these things came up to me, and I've used it for so many small things, like even rearranging the pots and pans in my cupboard. Rather than saying this doesn't fit, or why don't I have a bigger cupboard space, or why have I got so many pots and pans, how can I arrange this such that it all fits? Gets an answer. I know I'm sounding really passionate about pots and pans and washing up and ironing, but I just want you to understand that you can apply this to the most mundane of tasks, not just those big corporate challenges, but everything in between as well. The power of how, it is so important. If you just use that, it will make your life a lot easier. Trust me. Okay, that is it for this week. That, I'm sure, has been of service. If you just apply that and nothing else that you've learned in all these videos, your life is going to get a lot easier, trust me. Just remember, ask how. Okay, go forward this week, use that, become that more improved problem solver that I know that you are, and become super that is what it's all about. It's how can we become better versions of ourselves. For me, it's all about personal leadership before leadership of other people. And you do that by being on point mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And that is what this is all about, helping you become super. Ta-da! This is my new shirt that I got today, so I thought I'd show it. But really, you know, I'm a bit of a superhero fan, and I'm wanting to find out the superhero within each and every one of us, so we can become better leaders, fathers, daughters, entrepreneurs, sons, brothers, everything else in between. Okay, remember to subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you haven't done so, why not? But subscribe, and I will see you very soon. Until then, take this question forward, recognize the power of how, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.